I was able to stack up 74,070 points for get hit by lightning during an electromagnetic storm on Dam Battleground. Now for your equipment, you're going to want to bring in a metric ton of healing. I brought in 10 stacks of blue heals, 10 stacks of green heals, a couple of the Vita shots, and then for dealing with the enemies, an anvil with a couple stacks of ammo, a hull cracker with a single stack of ammo, and a couple of wolf packs for the rocketeers that patrol the area. Now for this challenge, something you're going to want to keep in mind is that you will earn more points per lightning strike if you are not wearing a shield. By not wearing a shield, your maximum points will be 1800 per lightning strike, versus 1080 points if you're wearing a light shield when you get struck by lightning. Now the way I managed this was I just left my shield on, took the first lightning strike, drained my shield, and then just left it on broken. It doesn't take any further damage with any more lightning strikes, and then if I got into a situation where I suddenly needed my shields, I could just use a shield recharger and power it up. Now once you spawn into the map, you're going to want to head towards the testing annex. There is a row of cars just outside of the testing annex that is pretty good for getting lightning strikes consistently throughout the match. There's also a nice building you can use for safety if you get yourself into any sort of danger, like aggro from an enemy while you're taking a lightning strike. Now, if you're not running the MK Survivor augment, keep in mind that crawling to the extraction if you were to go down from this location is tough. You essentially need the extraction doors to be open when you get there, or else you essentially bleed out. Now keep in mind I have the two different skills that allow me to crawl faster when I'm downed, and I drain my health slower while I'm downed as well. So keep that in mind, that'll play a role in terms of what you want to do with your positioning. Now the process here is incredibly simple. All you want to do is walk around in the area and watch for lightning strikes to hit. Step into the center of the lightning strike and it will deal significant damage to you, but also award you with the 1800 points. Using one blue bandage will take you back to close to full, and then you can take another lightning strike in just a few seconds after that. And essentially, this is all you want to do for the rest of the match, is just rinse and repeat getting hit by lightning and then healing yourself up so you can take another lightning strike. Now the things that you want to look out for are double lightning strikes. It can be very tough sometimes to tell when there is a double lightning strike, so you have to pay attention to the ground pattern and the audio cues. Rarely the lightning will stack on top of itself and you really can't tell on the ground or even through an audio cue that there is a double lightning strike. But in most cases, you'll be able to tell when there is two on the ground. Now keep in mind, when you do get hit by lightning, you're going to be stunned for a period of time. It takes your character 1 to 2 seconds to regain control before you're able to heal again. I had one match last night where while I was stunned from one lightning strike, another one struck on me and there was no way for me to get out of it, and I ended up going down as a result. There is a little bit of RNG that plays a role in this challenge. Now in terms of the consistency of lightning strikes, if there are more raiders in the area, lightning tends to hit a little bit more frequently and a little bit more consistently. But you can still do this fairly easily by just being there by yourself. It may just be a little bit less intense than if you were there with other raiders. Now the bigger threats to you overall are the rocketeers and the leapers that patrol in this area. In general, the rocketeer and the leaper will pass by every few minutes, but will just pass by as long as you don't take aggro from them. Now in this specific round, for whatever reason, I had a couple of leapers that were patrolling the area, and one of my leapers was essentially doing laps in circles, like right around the testing annex. So I didn't have a whole lot of breathing room from that leaper, but in all my other runs, it wasn't that consistent in terms of how often the leaper was around. So you just need to kind of juggle that aspect, and the important part is to just not aggro them. The amount of time that you lose from them wandering around is really insignificant, but the second that you aggro them, it takes them much longer to disengage and then leave the area, so you'll miss out on more points that way. In this way, I recommend the photoelectric cloak. You can essentially use it to get out of jail for free in case you are in line of sight of an enemy and you are about to take that aggro. Just use the photoelectric cloak to hide yourself and you'll be good from that danger. For my run, I plan to save my wolf packs until the end of the round. Using the wolf packs early, the rocketeers and the leapers would just respawn, so the intent was to use it at about 10 minutes or less remaining to help me have a better back end of the match where I could just run around for free, not worrying about aggroing and not worrying about that rocketeer respawning before the match ended. But you'll have to decide for yourself when the right time is to use it to protect your run and your score. Now keep in mind you need to pay attention to where the extraction is, and if you're lucky, it will be the Red Lakes extraction. But if it's not, then you do need to plan to leave a little bit ahead of time and make sure that you put your shield back on so that you can get there safely. Now in general, when you're running to the extraction, I don't necessarily recommend taking lightning strikes, but you're welcome to do that if you want. It just obviously increases the risk. You can give yourself a little extra time at the very end of the match if you wait to press the extraction button until about 5 seconds remaining. As long as you press the button before it reaches 0, you'll be safe from the end of match wipe that normally happens if there are no extractions open. Since it takes the elevator a little bit over a minute to arrive, you essentially get that extra minute to run around the extraction, taking additional lightning strikes and stacking up final bits of your score. Once you've been electrocuted enough and you're happy with your score, head back to Speranza, collect any loot if you haven't already, and watch your score fly up the leaderboard. That's going to be it for me today, y'all. Thanks for watching.